Okie dokie, Pickle. It's time to unveil the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Associated Press rankings for Week 10 of the Texas high school football season. Dave Campbell's Texas Football has put out the state's most respected Texas high school football rankings for years and has been the official rankings provider of the Associated Press since 2019. Complete rankings can be found at texasfootball.com/rankings. Let's go on to Class 6A to talk a little bit about some changes we've got in 6A, most notably at the bottom of the rankings, where 3 newcomers have slid in. We lost a number of teams, including Cy Park, who got beat. They are out of the rankings as one of the teams that's out of the rankings. But new to the rankings, number 23 DeSoto back into the rankings with their win over Hewitt Midway. Number 24 Dickinson back into the rankings with a win over Clearbrook. And Jersey Village cracks the rankings for the first time at 8-0 with their win over Springwoods. Big game this week for them. Over to 5A, Pickle. I should say the top 5 remain unchanged. Austin, Westlake, Katy, Southlake, Carroll, Duncanville. No, I got it. Duncanville and Atascocita. These are top 5. 5A Division 1 now. We made a couple of moves. Katy Pato throttles Fort Bend Hightower, and that bumps them all the way up from number 9 to number 5. A big jump for them. As a result, some teams get nudged down despite not doing anything wrong. Corpus Christi Vets, Colleyville Heritage, Frisco Lone Star, and Longview all drop a spot because of that. Fort Bend Hightower drops out of the rankings. They were previously number 10. Into the rankings, state ranked Dripping Springs Tigers, 8-0. Big winners over San Antonio Harlandale. They have a big game this week over unbeaten Buda Johnson. 5A Division 2 now, where one of the big games we had our eye on, Lucas Lovejoy taking on Frisco. They beat up on Frisco 38-15. That's good enough for us to jump them up to number 2 in the rankings, bumping Fort Bend Marshall, who is idle, down to 3. Frisco drops out at number 8. Alamo Heights and Montgomery nudge up a spot. And back into the rankings, number 10, Crosby. Keep an eye on them. They have really soared ever since their slow start. They got losses to Carthage and Manville, but since then they have rattled off 6 straight, back into the rankings at number 10. To 4A we go. 4A Division 1, a little bit more churn, thanks in large part to a couple of big-time moves there in the kind of the middle of the rankings. New to the rankings, let's go to 4A. 4A, back into the rankings, Waco La Vega at number 9. Their win over Midlothian Heritage vaults them back into the rankings at 5-3, and into the rankings for the first time, the Vider Pirates, who are back into the rankings. They are making up for. They are jumping into the rankings for the first time this season. To 4A Division 2 we go, where almost entirely chalky, although we did lose one squad. Back into the rankings at number 10 is Wimberley at number 10, and the top 5 remains unchanged. Carthage, Gilmore, Salina, West Orange Stark, and China Spring, big winners over Salado. To 3A we go, Pickle. 3A Division 1, where we had basically a little bit of movement, specifically Mount Vernon. Their win over Winsboro impressed us enough to nudge them up ahead of Vanderbilt Industrial. They are 8-0, now up to number 4. Vanderbilt Industrial drops a spot. Big game this week between number 6 West and number 7 Grandview. 3A Division 2 now, where we've got a little bit of movement, thanks in large part to the man we just talked to. Lubbock Roosevelt up to number 7 in the rankings with their win over Abernathy. Abernathy drops from number 6 to number 10. Pretty much everybody else unchanged. Newton nudges up a spot despite being idle. Wascom Canadian, because they had to make room for Lubbock Roosevelt. Basically, yeah, they stay the same at number 8, number 9, top 5 unchanged. Franklin, Gunner, Childress, Holiday, and West Rusk, all winners, all still unbeaten. Franklin, one of the few 9-0 teams in the state.
Yeah.
To 2A we go, Pickle. 2A Division 1. Cisco drops out after their loss to Coleman, and in their place, the Coleman Blue Cats, who take over the number 9 spot in the rankings, leapfrogging unbeaten Forsam. Beckville is up 2 spots to number 7. Mason remains the same at number 8. The top 4 remain unchanged. Hawley nudges up a spot to number 5. The top 5 now Refugio, Shiner, Timpson, Crawford, and Hawley. 2A Division 2. little bit of chaos in this one. Because of Clarendon's win over Wellington, things got a little bit of a shakeup here. Clarendon now up to number 8. Wellington falls to number 9 in the rankings. McCamey checks into the rankings at number 10. The Badgers back into the rankings. Munster also is still ahead of Windthorst, that is. So it's Munster, Windthorst, Albany, and Stratford are your top 5. To 1A we go, Pickle. A little bit of shakeup in the 1A ranks. Specifically, Westbrook's win over Sterling City drops Sterling City from number 2 to number 7. Everyone else nudges up a spot, so now your top 5 are May, Jonesboro, Abbott, Water Valley, and Rankin. Hermley remains at number 10. Ira was idle at number 9. 1A Division 2 now, where we finally get some chalk. Everyone's a winner. Nobody moved. Top 5 unchanged. Motley County, Strawn, Richland Springs, Balmorhea, and Follett. To the private school ranks we go, Pickle. Top 5 remain unchanged. Austin Regents, Houston, Dallas Parish Episcopal, Houston Second Baptist, Fort Worth Nolan, and Episcopal School of Dallas. Let me explain one thing here. If you take a look at number 4, it's going to say Fort Worth Nolan 3 and 5. That is their technical record. Okay, but they have also had to forfeit 3 games, I believe it was, because of use of an ineligible player. Mm-hmm. On the field, they're 6 and 2. So I want to be very clear about that. Although that is correct, on the field they are 6 and 2. They've got a big game this week against Parish Episcopal, number 4 versus number 2.
Yeah, it does look odd with 3 and 5 and then 9 and 0 right underneath.
I knew that was going to throw some people off. And at the private school, or rather in the 6-man ranks, the top 5 unchanged. Waco, Live Oak, Marble Falls Faith, Bulverde, Bracken Christian, Austin Veritas, and Texas School for the Deaf. All winners or idle. They are now heading into week 10 next week, getting close to the playoffs. So those are your Dave Campbell Texas Football Associated Press Texas High School football rankings. Make sure you check out all the rankings at texasfootball.com/rankings.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you would like more and to be notified when they come out, go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there. You can also watch Texas Football Today every day live at noon on texasfootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, and right here on YouTube. For more of the best coverage of Texas football in the Lone Star State, go to texasfootball.com/subscribe.